Jacob Siegel from the Daily Beast has a piece out today that is absolutely mind-blowing about the reconstruction in Afghanistan. And if you think you know the situation there and how corrupt it is and how bad it is and crazy it is, you don't know the half of it. I didn't know the half of it. So he says that during the rebuilding in Afghanistan, quote, the State Department paid 69% of all of the reconstruction money to one company named DynCorp. This is a company I haven't even heard of before, and that's kind of surprising because this is the stuff I cover day in and day out. So whenever I talk about defense contractors, who do I bring up? Raytheon and Boeing and KBR, of course, affiliated with Halliburton. But this is the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones for the biggest one for the reconstruction in Afghanistan. So that's a really interesting choice to pick this company to give all the money to because, quote, DynCorp has long been known for corruption, scandals, and a questionable performance record. Okay, so what's the problem with the company? There are, quote, allegations that DynCorp employees procured child prostitutes to entertain Afghan officials. It's a claim that the company and State Department have both denied, but was serious enough to prompt worried emails from an Afghan politician asking that the story be kept secret. Now, okay, you might say, those are allegations, nothing's been proven. Fair enough, but we have more information. It gets worse. Quote, a group of DynCorp employees working as peacekeepers in Bosnia were accused of sex trafficking by a colleague. The whistleblower was fired by DynCorp after coming forward to them with her report. She then successfully sued the company in a British court. Successfully, that's the key word, sued the company in British court. In another suit, a man witnessed coworkers and supervisors literally buying and selling women for their own personal enjoyment, and employees would brag about the various ages and talents of the individual slaves they had purchased. Now, I need you to understand something, man. We're not talking about our soldiers or our contractors going to foreign countries and visiting a brothel, going to a prostitute. Just, going in, going out, and that's it, and it's a legal transaction. Or even if it's an illegal transaction, but they went to prostitutes. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about actual buying and selling of female slaves and bragging about their ages and talents to other people. All right, whoa. Keep in mind, who's funding these people? The United States government. The United States government. All of these things are on record. Okay? The American government knows about all of these actions. So keeping that in mind, now we move on to the next question. How big were the DynCorp contracts? Quote, there were $4 billion for projects to aid in reconstruction in Afghanistan in total. $2.5 billion of that went to DynCorp. Oh my goodness, we gave $2.5 billion to a group of savages buying and selling female slaves in foreign countries. But it gets worse. You're probably thinking, how the fuck can it get worse than that? All right, you ready? Quote, in 2010, the Inspector General, along with the State Department, found DynCorp couldn't account for $1 billion spent training the Iraqi police force. Whoa, man. Hold the fuck up. You couldn't account for $1 billion in 2010 that you gave them? And the job was to, help prepare a police force? You can't find $1 billion? Wait, hold on. If you lose $1 million in my book, you're fired. We're taking you to court. You're not getting another contract. That's it. $1 million is ridiculous. That's a lot of money. We're talking about $1 billion here. Not $1 million, not even $100 million. We're talking about $1 billion. Poof, gone. Nowhere to be found. You want to talk about corruption on a wide scale, on a mass scale. You know, this reminds me of the Smedley Butler article in, what was it, the 30s? Where he says war is a racket. Like, everybody naively thinks, like, you think that when we go to war, we're actually doing it for these principled reasons or to protect people or to do this or do that. Don't be fucking silly. Don't be ridiculous. We go to war because a small number of people make a massive amount of money. You know, they can loot the treasury that way and just get rich and be rich for the rest of their lives, and they can essentially check out of society and say, I got mine. Fuck off. Fuck you. And that's what we see. When we see it all over the place, is Raytheon, Boeing, the examples I gave before, Halliburton, KBR. Oh, would you look at that? Dick Cheney's affiliated with Halliburton, and then they get a gigantic no-bid contract from the government when we decide to go into Afghanistan and Iraq. Is that what? Is that some sort of coincidence? Well, we could give it to this company, or we could give it to the one I'm affiliated with, Halliburton. Yeah, and honestly, this is an even worse example. They fucking, and let's call it what it is, man. You didn't lose $1 billion. It's not like, hey, where'd that $1 billion go? Dave just had it before. No, you fucking stole it. These guys stole it. There's no question about it. So they steal $1 billion, okay? They got $2.5 billion for a government contract. They were in foreign countries allegedly selling child prostitutes to Afghani politicians. It's been proven that they were buying and selling female slaves in Bosnia and in other countries, and we're still giving them contracts. In fact, here, I have more information for you. 87% of all contracts awarded by the State Department in Afghanistan went to only 5 companies, with DynCorp being the biggest of the 5. The remaining 13% of contracts were split between another 766 recipients. So, stop there for a second. You're the government, okay? Your job is to choose who we're going to give which private contractors, which, by the way, we haven't even breached the conversation about should there even be private contractors. No, they should all be government function. If you're going to fight a war, nobody should be profiting off of a war. That's insanity. But you're the government, and you're picking out which defense contractors to give money to and to make a deal with, okay? There's 766 applicants. You picked the one where they stole $1 billion, where they were involved with slavery overseas, where they were allegedly involved with child prostitution, and there's massive corruption. Why would you choose them? And of course the answer, we all know the answer. I'm asking a loaded question. Because they have political connections, and because they are doing bribery. They are doing lobbying of the politicians. So you turn a blind eye to all the fucked up shit they're doing, and you just let the war machine keep on going.